Well, in the same vein, we offset this line down here 4.94, so it's modify, offset this one here, right click, take off the existing 8.1 and set 4.94 as our distance, OK it, and then indicate the side, and that line will be offset. Then we can use, after we hit right click, to exit from the command. Now we can use modify and fill it again. Fill it with a 0 radius, in fact, is squaring off those lines. So we now have our boundary lines and our chain mesh fencing, so we could use the extend command. Pick this boundary down here as the extend boundary, extend that line then through to it. That gets our chain fence. What we then have to do is work out this distance from there to there, the side garden effectively. So I'll again use the distance command. I'll go from the end point of that line to the end point of this one, 8.11. So we can offset again, modify, offset this line on this side, 8.11. You can see we make extensive use of the offset command. That gives us our line through there. And to me, there's obviously an error somewhere in our measurements. So what I'm going to do is just check. For mine, we were having some trouble, or I was having some trouble. I need to check that distance again. So distance from that point of snap to the end of that one, and go perpendicular, make it bite, I just missed, perpendicular to there, so it's 6.96. So I've made an error. So that's offset. I'll eliminate that one, delete it. I'll offset again. Gee, I'm having a bad way, aren't I? A bad time. I need to be writing these values down. So distance from end of that perpendicular to this, 6.22. So quickly, before we forget, modify, offset this line here, a distance of 6.22, and indicate the side. So that's the correct value. We'll eliminate that one. We'll modify and extend with that one as a boundary. We'll extend this one through to it, and then we'll trim, modify, trim, using this as the cutting edge, and we'll take that little bit off there. So we now have our boundary. I will triple check again that distance. I think it was 8.11. So distance from the end of there to the end of there, 8.11. So now it's modify, offset this line, right click, reset 8.11, and we'll OK and indicate our side. That looks better. Modify, trim. This can be the cutting edge. We knock off that little bit through there. So that gives us this boundary running through here. Now we just have to get the width of the driveway. So we can use distance again from the end of that one to the end of this one, 18. So we now modify, offset this one here, right click, through point 18 feet. Oops. Try again. Offset that line, right click, distance 18. OK. Indicate the side, and that should be offset. as we have done. Now modify and trim with this one as the cutting edge, and slice it off as a guillotine and chop that one off through there. So we've got all those shapes now apart from that small angle coming to the small roller door. So I'm a little out of breath, aren't I? I've got the front boundary, the two side boundaries, the chain mesh fencing, and most of the driveway done. So I'd like you to follow through all of that. We may not get every one of these distances written down, but what I'd suggest you do, use the drawing on the right hand side to refresh your memory as to the measurements. You will make mistakes like I did, but in the end you will be learning to use gCADPlus accurately. Remember, we're building a full-size, accurate model of what will happen on the ground when this design is implemented.